Group K then plays to a conclusion, and I think when we were looking ahead to this group, many would have Portugal topping it, but they don't. A 0-0 draw against Colombia means it's the Colombians that go through, top of the table. Portugal second. DR Congo go through as one of the best third-place teams. They'll face England. We'll talk about that a little bit later on, but let's focus on this draw. I tell you, look at 0-0 and you think, well, not much of a game, Dom, but both teams, especially Colombia, had a lot of chances.
Do you know what? I thought they played really well. I thought they took the game to Portugal. I thought Portugal looked a little bit leggy in the conditions, but in terms of how Colombia approached the game, every time they got the ball wide, they put crosses in the box. They were dangerous. They were full of running, had energy, had quality. And arguably, I think they deserved to win the game.
Yeah, I think that's fair, isn't it, Stevie? Obviously, it was a toe-nail in the end for the goal that was disallowed late on.
Yeah, I couldn't argue with that. I think, however, we have to say that Portugal had two really good chances where they should have scored.
Yes.
I mean, there's no question. Bruno Fernandes, for me, should have scored. He went for power. Goalie's made a great save, but he should have picked his spot. And then João Felix has a free header about, 10 yards out? Misses it completely and comes off his shoulder. But yeah, I would agree that Colombia were the better side. Unfortunately for Colombia going forward, it was just missing tonight, particularly Luis Diaz, who really is the main threat. He had one of those nights where nothing came off for him, and so it didn't happen. But at the end of the day, for them, they're top in the group, and that's what's important for them.
For Portugal, you mentioned that they were leggy. Why compared to Colombia? You say that pretty much from the start.
Well, maybe the conditions. I mean, I've played at altitude and it's difficult. And I was watching the Portuguese players, and they never really played the game their way because they couldn't get near them.
Isn't the game in Miami?
Still hot, still humid, apparently. No, I was watching them. I thought they looked a yard off it. But when you look at Vitinha and João Neves and Bruno Fernandes, we talked yesterday. In my opinion, I think they could be the best midfield three in the tournament. But Colombia didn't allow them to do what they do best, which is keeping hold of the ball. And you look at that there and you think, right, Vitinha gets on it and he's sharp, and Neves started the game and João Neves replaced later on, and then Bruno Fernandes. And I don't know, they just looked at even João Felix, who was quite sharp, but Neto didn't really have an effect on the right-hand side. But I would credit Colombia by stepping onto Vitinha and not allowing him to have the tempo and dictate the game normally as he likes.
This was a bit DR Congo-y, wasn't it? From what we saw in most of that game in the opening match where they drew, they kind of regressed back to that after putting 5 past Uzbekistan. Yeah,
I do actually agree with Don. I think for some reason they were a little bit leggy, and I think that's why Colombia looked a better side, because whenever Portugal coughed the ball up, they couldn't get back in. As a unit, they couldn't get back in. They left far too many holes. And as I said previously, the only reason that they didn't actually lose this game is because Colombia couldn't take advantage of all that possession and 26 shots.
Yeah.
How can you let anybody have 26 shots on you? That tells you that defensively you've not been at it. And today, I'm going to say that it was because of the legs. But if they don't get their legs back, then they're going to be in trouble the further they go.
Let's talk about Cristiano Ronaldo, shall we, Don? Because we always do.
Yeah.
How would you rate his performance today?
I don't think he was the worst. I think he stands out because of the name and how legendary he is. But I think when you look at his performance, he tried. He ran around. Me and Stevie were watching him and I think if you're Roberto Martinez and you're managing Cristiano Ronaldo, just get him the width of the 18-yard box.
These stats, you're not exactly pinning up.
No, but you look at his heat map. What do you want Ronaldo running all over the place for? I talked about it the other day. When you've got someone like Ronaldo, you tell him, we'll do the hard work. We'll do the donkey work in midfield. We'll get the ball wide. You stay the width of the 18-yard box. It's our job to get you chances. You wouldn't want him having coverage, large distances and wide areas. Just tell him to be patient.
Ronaldo was just another player today. He wasn't the superstar.
Right.
Apparently one of the best players that have ever kicked the ball. He just, tonight, was another player.
He wasn't a superstar, but he wasn't rubbish.
No.
He was
just an ordinary footballer
which pretty much the Portuguese team were overall today.
Yeah, but then if you're Ronaldo, then you're supposed to be better than everybody. You're supposed to stand out. You're supposed to be the leader of the pack. And he was just another player today. If he hadn't had Ronaldo on his back, you wouldn't have guessed this guy's got 900 and something goals in his career. I mean, you just wouldn't. He just looked like another player today.
Let's talk about Portugal's path then, shall we, to further on in the competition. Spain, in theory, they would meet in the round of 16 because this is the way that it has worked. Portugal against Croatia. Now, we saw Croatia today, of course, with that victory against Ghana. After that 4-2 defeat against England, they seem to have found a little bit of something.
I think they're a good side, Croatia. They didn't show that against England. England had a probably a 20-minute spell where they spanked them and they trampled all over them. I mean, ironically, funny, we were chatting yesterday and you look at that bracket there and we were saying Portugal will go through. They might do just. They need to improve. And then yesterday we were talking about how average Spain were and we had Portugal to go through past Spain.
Yeah.
And then you watch Portugal today and you go, well, if Spain improve, they're going to go through because they need to improve Spain. They need to be better.
Yeah, 100% right, in the sense that you went into today thinking Portugal could do really well here.
Yeah. Every team seems to be giving us questions every time the final whistle goes.
Apart from France.
Yeah.
Well, apart from France, you kind of go, well, I didn't like the look of that, or I didn't like them doing that.
Now, is that because they already knew they were through today?
I don't believe so.
No?
I don't believe so. No, not at all. No, you can tell by the team that was put out that they wanted to win the group.
Yeah.
So the lead up to this game, Roberto Martinez is talking about winning the group.
Yes.
Doing this to win
And
the
I
game.
suppose when you look at the bracket, and if we look at Colombia's, so this is what Portugal would have had if they'd won. Hey, it's pretty nice. If you're Colombia, no disrespect to what else is going on, but you've got Ghana, and obviously they're beatable. Switzerland, despite what Stevie says about Switzerland.
Don't want to play them.
You kind of think,
Don't want to
okay,
play them.
that's not too bad.
Well, and you know,
Then you're through to the quarterfinals.
but you know that this is the type, that information you're giving out there is exactly what Roberto Martinez and his staff and all his assistants and everybody else are talking about to the players as well.
That's something you would hammer home to the players.
Well, absolutely. You know, you're always looking for reasons to give your players. You're looking for a reason to make them be at their best.
Right.
And regardless of what it is, you're throwing it at them. So there's no question. It's like, look, if we win this game and we top the group, we get an easier route, and it could be this or it could be that. Again, which is why he puts the team out he did, because he wants to win the game. So yeah, there's no excuses here. There's no question. Portugal weren't taking it easy. They were trying to win this game.
That is a real issue then.
Well, it is, and we've just talked about why. And again, Don's talking about how good they are in the middle of the park generally, but not tonight.
No.
And so they can't afford to repeat that, regardless of who the opposition is.
I had Portugal to go through the final. I am very much doubting my choices in life now, Don.
I'm with you, Dan. I'm with you. I think when you talk dark horses, when you look at that Portugal team...
You can't say dark horses for Portugal.
You can.
You can't, Don.
Can you?
Cannot.
How can you?
You
can't say dark
because the
horses.
Frances and the Spains are...
No, that's not a thing. Cape Verde are a dark horse.
Would you not say they're a dark horse after watching them today?
No.
Well, we've just talked how average they were and how leggy they were.
Of course, with Portugal.
I can, Dan, and I will.
You can't say.
I can and I will.
But you said
I
the best
can and I
midfielders
will.
in this tournament are dark horses.
They've got Roberto Martinez in charge and they've got a 41-year-old striker.
So that makes them a dark horse.
Well, it doesn't make them favourites.
It makes them fourth favourites.
Dark horses, then. Slightly dark. They're a grey horse in the race.
What about the altitude of Miami?
Exactly. Hot and humid. They struggled.
So overall, Portugal against Spain, if that happens, who is the favourite going into that with what we've seen?
Are we taking it at face value? We're going to get the best version of either side?
No, we're taking it at what we've seen so far from those sides in these opening three games.
Spain.
Right. And you agree, Stevie?
100%, yeah.
Yeah.